Well, we're so happy to have you guys on with us today because this movie is rough. It's cool. We loved it. We popped it on and we're quite sure what we're getting into there, but man, it goes to some pretty rough places. And you guys got to be excited to unveil this to people because they don't know much about what they're getting into. They're in for a surprise and a treat.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, not a lot of people have seen this. It's like besides our mother, the list grows pretty thin. So honestly, to hear you say that, that's really exciting. So thank you so much, and we are excited to unveil it and just get people's reactions and see. We think there's some unique performances within it, and the story, hopefully, is fresh and is something new. And
The book definitely has an element of like you just are strapped onto a wild bucking bronco, like that's on fire the entire time. And so it's good to hear that came across in the film.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been lucky enough to have Aaron on a couple of times with us, but I didn't kind of see that coming from him. Is he an actual fighter, or is he just that good of an actor?
he has a fighting background. As far as films, he hasn't played a fighter too much. I think he played a trainer one time, but yeah, no, he did jujitsu, for a long period in his life, and he's really accomplished at that. And so there is definitely elements, that he had in his past that he could bring to the role, both physically as a fighter and then emotionally for the arc of Jack, our lead. But yeah, he rolled up to Mississippi in his truck, and he actually brought his grappling dummies with him that he put outside his house.
Bob and Ed.
And he was fighting Bob and Ed every day. He was either in the gym working with our stunt guys, or if he wasn't, he was running miles, dropping weight, or he was outside sparring with Bob and Ed.
It took us a long time to realize that Bob and Ed were not actual people. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go back and do some training with Bob and Ed. And he'd always kind of have a smile on his face. We're like, who the hell is he talking about? And then finally we looked in the back seat of his truck, and we see these two people. We're like, who are these people? And one of them we realized had no legs and no arms. And then the other one was like attached to a stand, and the other one was just like really heavy grappling dummy. So yeah, it started to make more sense.
We should have actually credited Bob and Ed in the credits and thanked them. But yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Well, and also I was born in Mississippi and didn't grow up there, but that's a character in itself. Just that place is just when you get there, you're like, where in the world am I? And having gone back to visit, and it's got to be interesting filming there, and just the people are lovely, but the place itself, it must be a little bit unpredictable in a way, right?
Well, when we were looking for our second film, we were looking at a lot of Southern Gothic literature, like the whole Cormac McCarthy, Faulkner business, has always spoken to us. And I think you said it. I mean, one of the reasons for that is that the landscape is such a character. There's so much history there, bright history and really dark history. And, that sense of joy and oppression and guilt and rage. It's just pregnant in the air and in the land, and it comes across in all the art the art and the music that comes out of that area. It's like the Ireland of the United States in a way, and so we really were drawn to that because I think something that we take a bit of pride in how our creativity is developed is we really like the environments to be a psychological reflection of what's going on inside of our characters. And Mississippi's got that, even with just like the graveyard of Americana that's like littered around and the rusting and but it's also so fertile and there's growth everywhere. So it really is a place of paradox, and that's kind of what the film is, with the light and the dark.
And there's films that, I think we were inspired by, it's like Kazan's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He shot that when it was hot, and you can see the beads of sweat rolling down their, necks and down their foreheads. And it's just, you can't escape that. And so, kudos to Aaron, and, Graham and I felt the same way. One of the first things he said to us was, we have to shoot this in the summer in Mississippi. And Graham and I, at the time, had spent some time in the summer in Mississippi. And so we were like, you know what you're getting yourself into? And he did. And it's just, you can't, as opposed to people walking around, squirting the actors, putting fake sweat on them, all that was real. And it was, we were 12-hour days on concrete with 110-degree heat and 100% humidity.
All dreams of us directing in, khaki suits, looking like, directing in the 1940s or 50s, or like Wes Anderson or something, like completely went out the window. Wearing like tank top.
We do not look cool on
swimsuits.
set. We're like,
No.
we're going to Walmart, buying something, we sweat through it, that's going in the trash, wearing something,
And it's the height of the Delta variant, so we got like a million masks on, and the shields and everything. We're just miserable.
Yeah, and there's a whole movie I'm probably seeing Bella Unleashed out there. She's a lot of fun to be around, but can't imagine her in Mississippi and all of this nonsense.
It was a cool like clash, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She was a trooper. I mean,
Yeah.
I hear her complain once, and she was a fan of Sonic, so she found a lot of Sonics out there.
Yeah, she'd roll in with her big cup of Sonic and a remote fan, and she'd get to work.
I love it. Well, you guys have both been doing some really, really cool stuff that people look up to and they think, oh, that's what I want to do. But obviously, as we hear, it's so much harder than we think about it when we're kids. Like, it'd be great to make a movie. But so what kind of advice do each of you offer to people that want to follow in your footsteps and make really cool films?
Find your friends, like your creative friends, that'll bleed for you, because this industry is filled with so many people who have, it's Parker was just saying, it's an industry that's made to keep people out in some ways. And I think that, some of that's by design, some of that's because there's so many people with broken hearts that have wanted to do these things and they weren't able to, and then they settled for something else, or, it just wasn't in the cards. And so it can be really disheartening to go through the normal channels and to keep hearing no again and again and again. And something that's buoyed us as we've, tried to move forward is we've got really great friends that are, you can, when we feel creatively starved, we're able to do a reading and, or get a recording of something, and just to kind of keep it moving forward. And I think that having a creative troupe around you is just so vital to like.
Yeah, they'll pick you up when you feel like, hey, maybe I should turn around and I've walked too far into this forest and things are getting a little dark. We hire a lot of the same people, and we like to, we have our director of photography, we're his daughter's godparents, we hire the same production designer, our composers, Brad Smith, who founded the band Blind Melon, and he was from Mississippi, and he was on from the very beginning. When we first met Michael, the writer, we brought Brad with us because we thought, hey, we might need another Mississippi fellow to be able to convince them the two kids from Laguna Beach can direct this thing. But yeah, we're just, my brother said it best, but I think, surround yourself, with people who believe in you and who can push you forward, and then, find something that inspires you, and just, grab hold and don't let go, and don't take no for an answer, because it is tough, but you can do it. You just have to see it through to the end.
Sometimes waiting for permission is a dangerous place to be in this business. So sometimes you just got to do it however you can do it, and then when they come at you and they go, well, you didn't do it right, and you go, and yet here's a thing where there never was a thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And my co-host Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, went in the Hall of Fame. We're so proud of him. Caught the original Hail Mary. He wanted me to make sure today I asked you your Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career for each of you, where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Ooh. Well, I know what
we had a few on this film. We had we had multiple Hail Marys. I think
we can't go into like too many details, but there was a point in our film where, between hurricanes hitting and just like everyone getting COVID, and just a whole triangulation of like, on some level, if we really were listening to the universe was telling us, do not seek the treasure, turn
pack
around,
up your bags, go home.
You do not collect $200, go back to Laguna Beach and just like cut your losses. And we basically decided to double down, and
we were pretty much shooting during the day, and we were cold calling, raising money at night, trying to afford the next one. And then, I think that was, we didn't know how we were going to make it through the week. We just knew we couldn't let our crew go, because if we let our crew go, we lose them, and we lose the windows of our actors. And
this is only on day 3 of filming, so it was early enough that we could have gone back and just said, let's regroup, we'll do this another time.
But the other Hail Mary, it's it's.
But you know what? I gotta say, the fact that we did that and that we pushed it through and kept the train moving, there was a lot of people in the crew that were like, "Yeah, this is not like, there's no way that we can come back from this." And the fact that we just like, we had two wheels off the edge of the cliff, and then somehow like we made it back on for the rest of the shoot. Everyone was like, "Yeah, cool. Like we're on board. We're just this is divinely sanctioned in a way."
Yeah, I think everyone could feel the vultures circling, but luckily we scared them away. The other Hail Mary was probably, we've talked about it, but the fight at the end, we had we had this, the movie being a fight film ends with a fight at the end, and we shot that last because we knew, if someone got injured or something happened, we wanted to make sure most of the film was in the can at that point. And we had multiple days of rehearsal planned for that fight. And then Hurricane Ida hit, and Aaron was staying in this house with like a tiny little ditch around it. It's like a stream. And Hurricane Ida hit, and suddenly that little stream became a major river. And Aaron and his big ass truck got stuck. And one day of rehearsal went by, we couldn't rehearse. Second day of rehearsal, the river kept rising, couldn't rehearse. And finally, we got a big rig to drag him through it. And we show up the day of shooting the fight, and our rehearsal's been wiped out. And, Aaron, being the, brave, insanely talented, dedicated actor he is, just kind of came in with his head held high and say, "How are we going to do this?" And Graham and I, met with him, our director of photography and our stunt coordinator, and said, "Look, what can you do?" And him, with a background in jiu-jitsu, kind of outlined all the things that he felt comfortable with and all the things that he could bring to the part. And we designed the fight pretty much on the fly around that. And
we'd had like our stunt coordinator had done previs and everything, but it was interesting because in order to hit those marks, you really have to have rehearsal. So it became this completely other level of collaboration, which made it a lot more exciting to watch from the director's seats. I can tell you that.
Yeah, a lot of times in that situation, you'd lay out, "Hey, you're going to do this, throw this punch this way. This is instead it was all of us coming together saying, "Well, okay, cool. What if we did this?" And it became this really amazing kind of thing that you usually only see in a theater, to be honest. And so, our fight pit kind of became that theater piece where we all were just in it together. And
kudos to to Derek Russo and Aaron Eckhart for being able, and all the people in the stunt department, for being able to straddle that line between moving quickly and having a degree of improvisation to it, but also knowing their boundaries, being able to keep it safe enough where we're not doing anything stupid. Because it's a hard balance to have, and they were able to thread that needle. And there's something about watching the fight at the end of this movie that feels, I think, a little bit more dangerous because of it.
Yeah, I love that, man. And it makes me appreciate it even more now, knowing what you guys went through, and to close it out. I mean, part of that is that kind of success mindset or stubbornness that you have to have, to not only get in this, but to stay in it. And so was there something that you kept in mind that kind of kept you like, we're going to finish this no matter what?
I would say, on day, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say, day 2, Aaron just gave this incredible performance. We were shooting at the set, which was his childhood home that's owned by his foster mother. And the entire film's about him trying to save this home. And we shot there, and Aaron gave such a beautiful performance. And although we got hit with a lot of issues after that, it was always that clip that we had that we said, we have to make this film because this has to come to light. And so I think, if he didn't do that, I think it would have been a lot harder to continue. But to be honest, this, that's how the story is too. This story is a fight of redemption, against all odds. So I think everyone kind of carried that, and everyone was attracted to this story for their own reason, throughout the entire crew, which was really unique to hear why people decided, because, it's an independent film. People are, no one's, making a lot of money with this. People have to be attracted to it and have to find a reason to go spend 5 weeks in Mississippi during the summer, and they have to be there for a reason. And I think because of that, we all had something to say, and I think that kept people working at it.
Yeah, and something to prove.
Yeah,
it's cool that all the actors and us and everyone in the creative team, like, we all bled for it because we had something to say that we don't want to go to the grave without saying it.
Yeah, well, you did it. So congratulations on everything. And thank you so much for making this. We're going to tell everyone to check it out and look forward to talking to both of you again sometime soon.